Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm here at this secret location because guess what? We have this brand new 2019 Honda Civic Si, all new color for 2019, this bright tonic yellow that just brings you in and really just lets you know how much fun you're gonna have behind the wheel of this car. But let's talk a little bit about the Honda Civic. Honda Civic has been around for so many decades. With this latest generation, Honda has really brought back that performance and brought it back in heaps and heaps, because with that turbocharged inline-4 engine underneath the hood, having the Si only available in a 6-speed manual transmission really is for the true car enthusiast. And I'm telling you, from a front-wheel drive perspective, you may not think that you could get any kind of real performance from this car. You're gonna be surprised. And really, the biggest question that we're posing with this particular review, is this Honda Civic Si the best car for around $25,000, sports car for $25,000? But let's go ahead, dive into this 2019 Si. If you've ever wondered, well, what does SI stand for? It stands for Sports Injected. This generation hit the streets in 2017. Now, the wonderful thing is you get to have your Civic Si two different ways. This one is the coupe. You could also get it in the sedan. And what's nice is they each have their own unique styling. What I do like on either of them though, great looking headlight style, blacked out housing inside, really gives the car a lot of personality, especially the LED daytime running lamps at night. Before you turn your headlights on, it really gives it such a distinct look. Now, the sore spot that's been for many people is this area right here. This is all non-functional vent. I wish they would have brought this plastic in a little bit closer to the fog lamp, but you do have actual fog lamps, which that seems to be a thing that's disappearing for so many cars. And I really think it was so smart the way they integrated the lower lip spoiler right into the front fascia, but I am gonna zonk all this extra plastic. Now, as we come across the front, I like the gloss black and that Si logo, bright red, sport injected, just like it's always been. You have a flat black on the bottom here. It would have been nice, I think, to see this lower lip spoiler in the center kind of extend a little further, but it's a very, very clean look down low. And from one side to the other really shows the purpose of the car. Now, one thing I want to point out is that you do have some functionality here with the vent, but it's not actually venting. The horn is behind that panel, and that is needed to allow that sound to pass the actual front fascia of the car. Now, when it comes to body lines, very, very distinct body lines start on the front fascia up onto the hood. You have two here, and then you have two on the angles of the fenders. That really gives you a great line of sight out the window, because I'm telling you, you're gonna wanna take this car down a fun, twisty road. You're gonna wanna take it down an autocross course or definitely do a track day. You'll be shocked. When we get to the side of the car, great looking wheel. It's an 18-inch wheel, 10 spoke, love the brushed aluminum, love the gloss black, over 13-inch rotors. That's a great size for a car of this caliber. Really nicely done. Underneath the fenders, you're gonna have, believe it or not, adaptive suspension that you could put this into two different modes. Also, you're gonna get larger stabilizer bars, and the front end is 30% stiffer. The rear is 60% stiffer than your standard Civic coupe. That's gonna allow this thing to handle like no other. Now, as we continue down the side, I like the way they brought the color in the mirrors. No turn signals though. There's no built-in turn signals, so I am gonna zonk that. But I do like the way, when it comes to getting an Si, there's really not many options for the car. The way you see it is the way you get it. The only thing you need to choose is really the color. And I'm telling you, this Tonic Yellow really fits the personality of this car. You get a nice size sunroof, little bit of chrome trim, tastefully done, flat black. I like the body lines. I like the way the lower sill here kind of extends near the back into the rear fender area, but really just nice airflow coming off this to this great size rear wing. It's not too massive, it's not too low. This wing is specific to the coupe. This is one of the reasons why I like the coupe better, is I love the wing on the back of this one. It is functional. The sedan has a little bit lower style wing to it, and of course being 4 doors. Now at back, you get this very unique styling with the brake lights. You always know you're behind a Civic, especially at night, with the way that these are shaped and designed. You have your SI logo, and I think very clean. Even though they have this fake venting here, I wish that first of all it was just kind of smooth, but it's still very clean compared to say like the Type R. Those areas on the corner are much larger. You can see the very large central exhaust, sort of looks like an HDMI plug that you'd plug in your TV, but hey, at least it's real, it's functional, and it's got a pretty decent sound for a stock exhaust out of this SI. But why don't we go ahead, pop the hood, and see what kind of power is coming out of this engine. All right, guys, we got the hood popped on this 10th generation Honda Civic. This one is the SI, so underneath the hood, that is that 1.5 liter inline-4 turbocharged engine. Remember, this is the first time ever that the SI has a turbocharged engine. 205 horsepower, 192 pound-feet of torque. The only way you could get this car is with a 6-speed manual transmission. That to me really states that this is an enthusiast car. 0 to 60 in about 6.4 seconds, quarter mile in about 14.8. It's got a top speed of 137 miles an hour, and you know what? This thing sips gas. 28 in the city, 38 in the highway. Like I pointed out earlier, you have those 13.2-inch rotors that are up front that are going to help slow you down, but a decent amount of power, 205 horsepower. The best part is, guess what? The Honda Civic Si has an LSD, limited slip differential. When a car has that, you know what its intent and purpose is, and it will blow your mind how much quicker this SI is than the last generation. I like the engine compartment. It's clear of all plastic covers. I could see the engine, the turbo. You got your 4 ignition coils up top, all the wires. Like I said, for an enthusiast, that's what we want to see. And thank you, Honda, for not just taking a bunch of plastic and making everything disappear. But why don't we go ahead, fire this up, and see what does this Civic Si sound like. All right, guys, we are inside the 2019 Honda Civic Si. Like I was telling you earlier, this car MSRP is almost right on the dot at $25,000. That's even after the destination charge. Before the destination charge, you're looking at $24,000 and change. Now, there are some big differences for 2019 on the inside, and I know they may not seem big, but one of the big differences is going to be the addition of a new knob for the volume control. That was something that Honda listened and they delivered by putting it back in. You also have controls for the actual blower speed of the AC instead of having to go into the infotainment, and you also have larger cup holders for 2019. Let's go to the door panels though. For the price, you're actually getting a lot of bang for the buck. One thing that I'm not a big fan of, and I am going to zonk, is the cloth on the back of the door and the armrest. The armrest is rock hard, but it is a good looking door panel with the darker gray trim, and I do like the red contrast stitching, very nice. Now, soft material both at the top of the door and as you come in, you have very soft material on the dash. Even in front of the driver here, you have this faux carbon fiber, which actually doesn't look too bad. It's almost looks real, to be honest with you. Infotainment system, it's a 7-inch screen. I like the way it's kind of tilted towards the windshield to give you a better view, and you know what? There's no glare. There's absolutely no glare, and you can obviously touch screen to get in. You have your buttons over here. You have the addition of the volume knob. I know many people are saying just use the controls on the steering wheel. Some people want that knob. Push button start. I love the way it's lit up red when the engine is running. Here, let me show you something. This has that lane watch, Honda lane watch. So when you turn on the right turn signal, we obviously have the door open, but that's gonna let you see into the next lane so you don't have to try to really reach across to get to that side mirror. You have your very simple AC controls, dual climate, which is really nice. You got a nice little cubby. Now, if you're wondering why is this cord here, they actually have the split level center console, which is super smart. You have storage down here, all your connectivity, and then if you want to actually connect your phone in Up here, you have the cable that's already there for you. Now this does have heated seats, not ventilated seats. Great transmission. Now is it as good as the Type R? No, but I'm telling you, very nice short throws, very crisp engagement. I like the leather around the shift knob here. This silver, you're gonna have to be careful, especially if it's been sitting out in the sun. You might give yourself a little bit of a branding on your hand of the manual sequence here, because it does get quite hot. But I do like how short it is, and I also love the leather boot with the red stitching. This does have an electric e-brake, and then like I was pointing out earlier, you have adaptive suspension. So you hit sport mode and it actually will adjust not only the damping of the suspension, but also throttle sensitivity and the steering feel as well. Great center console, lots of room. So you have the ability to put a big, huge, like super big gulp in here. You do have a USB. If you don't have as deep, like as large as a bottle, then you just slide this. There's a nice sliding cup holder in here, 2 cup holders. I just don't like this material. The cloth, it's on the harder side, especially the armrest. You can lift it up and you have a nice little tray in here for coins and change and whatnot. And it also slides forward for that. So great versatility that way. It's just a little on the harder side. Seats though are a little piece of heaven. I like how comfortable they are. I love the design, the look, sharp looking seat, great bolstering. You could do your twisty road. You could do your autocross. It does have manual controls, but remember, price point $25,000. I think that is to be expected. You have a nice sunroof. The way you see it is the way you get it. No matter which way you want to go, you're just changing color. But why don't you get on over to the business side and I'll show you behind the wheel of this Civic Si. All right, guys, we're behind the wheel of this 2019 Tonic Yellow. Such a bright yellow. It's one of those things, though, it gets people's attention. You can see how I fit in the seat, all manual controls, but I'm 6 feet tall, even with the sunroof, plenty of room. Love the pedals, nice aluminum pedals down there, great look. And you know what? Heel toe isn't too shabby. I wish the gas pedal was just a little bit higher, but still, if you know how to do the dance, this thing is gonna reward you. Steering wheel, love the thickness, love the shape, that red crisscross stitching. Very simple controls. I don't really like the look of them, but it is easy to get through the different information. And that's where we're really looking at. That TFT screen there, really clear, really crisp. You could go through, there's your boost gauge. You could go through all different types of readouts in that center dash gauge cluster, even G-forces. If you want to time yourself down your favorite road, you could do that. It's all right smack dab in the center. I really, really like that touch. You have a digital readout for coolant and for fuel, but I'm telling you, seating position wise, you get it perfect in here and you're gonna feel unstoppable. But why don't we go ahead, check out the trunk and see how usable this Si is for an everyday driver. All right, guys, when we tend to think of sports coupes, sports cars that only have 2 doors, we think that maybe the trunk is gonna be lacking. I think this is gonna shock you. Open up the trunk, nice size opening, plus once you get past the opening, there's plenty of room to put whatever you need in the back of this Si. What I think is so smart is I love how the engineers at Honda put these nice little levers here. You just pull it forward and then that's gonna give you the ability to just throw it down. Look how nice that is. What's great about this is, think about it, you're gonna do your track day, you could actually bring equipment with you and have it in the back, and you'll have plenty of room. You won't have to have a chase vehicle with you carrying all your supplies. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and take this 2019 Honda Civic Si for our drive. All right, guys, we're in the 2019, that Tonic Yellow Civic Si. Very comfortable inside. I really do love the seats. Even though they're cloth, they're really supportive. Nice amount of bolstering. Great view out the front windshield. I'm gonna drop it down to 3rd. We have it in sport mode. That adjusts the damping of the suspension. And as you can see, for a front wheel drive car, very surprising how this Si handles. And not only being a front wheel drive car, but also being a car that has an MSRP a little bit under $25,000. This seems to be one of the best bangs for the buck for a sports car that could kind of do it all. Really smooth. The steering feedback is unbelievable. You feel like you're actually part of the car when you're driving it. You don't feel like the driver, you actually feel like the car. Watch as we go through this transition here. I'm gonna leave it in third. On the brakes, good feedback. Tipping in this left-hand bend here. Even with the pavement a little torn up, it handles great. Decreasing radius turn here. And that was all just in third gear. So that's how great the 1.5 liter turbocharged engine is that you really don't have to keep chasing all over the gear pattern as you're going through the twisty bits. You can leave it in a gear like third and just let the engine do the work and the turbo and whatnot. Boost comes in great, and the feedback from everything is spot on. All right, guys, a little bit more driving. That's what this car is all about, and definitely this SI loves to be driven. Third gear, on the brakes, into this left-hand bend. Really holds the line well. Very nice, look at this. It's like you do the inputs and the way that the car responds is exactly how you know it's going to. And that's the thing that, especially if you're a newer driver or maybe somebody that's newer to a sports car, sports coupe type of car, this car would be really great for you because it's forgiving. It's predictable and it's forgiving. The gearbox, very nice short throws, very crisp engagement, and you have just enough power to where you could really enjoy yourself and get the business done, develop your skills, and then you could always move up to a Type R if that's what you want to do and stay in the Honda family. But this SI is definitely no slouch, and you can't look at the hard numbers. You would think 205 horsepower, that's the same as a Toyota 86. It's a totally different animal, totally different beast, and really a pleasure to drive. Fourth gear, nice and smooth. On the brakes, downshift. Just let the RPMs carry you all the way through. Like I was saying, even with the pavement not being the smoothest, it allows you to really feel confident behind the wheel of the car. All right, guys, I want to do a little acceleration test from a dead stop. Clutch modulation's great, nice and smooth. Roll on the throttle. You do get a little bit of spin from those front tires. But I tell you, the gearbox is a pleasure. Absolute pleasure. On the brakes, downshift. Holding that third gear all the way through this section. What's nice is you get a little bit of movement from the rear just to set you up for the next turn. I really like that, and that really shows the engineering behind the suspension setup in this car. Honda really did their homework in the SI to make it handle extremely well for a front-wheel drive car. Or are you gonna get some torque steer? A little bit. Is it gonna push in some of the faster bends? Sure, but if you just remember you're driving a front-wheel drive car, take those things into consideration. This thing is very, very rewarding. It's surprising how a lot of times cars with less horsepower are more rewarding than cars with more horsepower. Through this little intersection here, very nicely done. All right, guys, we're gonna do a little twisty bits in the Civic Si on throttle. The lights, when you're in sport mode, everything's red, and then it flashes to let you know to shift. On the brakes for this first bend, nice and stable, back on throttle, downshift into third, very nice as we come through. On the brakes, decreasing radius turn. You can hear the tires doing their job. Look at this, very nice. Carry the speed through. On the brakes for this tight left-hand bend here. 4 screeching tires are happy tires, that's what I believe. Really smooth. This car is all about rewarding carrying the speed. That's what this car is about. You carry the speed through the bend, because guess what? You make a mistake in a low horsepower car, everybody's gonna see it. Everybody's gonna know, you're gonna know, because your exit speed is going to be killed. But if you carry your momentum and you really have the skill, this car is a fun track toy, autocross, or like you saw, a fun twisty road car. All right, guys, a little bit more driving here in the SI, that Tonic Yellow. On the brakes, downshift into third. Really, really nice. Now you are getting that little front end push I told you about, but if you do it the right way, you can control it very, very nicely. Going around this bend, nice and balanced. Really feels great. She's so light on her feet, and I'm telling you, she just wants to keep dancing. All right, guys, second gear, on throttle, up to third, on the brakes. Really predictable. That's what I like about this car. Very predictable, very balanced. Let the RPMs just pull you. On the brakes. Nice and smooth. That's how you want your inputs to be. Everything you want to be nice and smooth, because as you increase your speed, those inputs get magnified. So if you've been watching Fast and the Furious and you see them jerking their hands all over the place, that's really not the way to get the business done. You want to be nice and smooth. Slow in, fast out. That is the old adage while you're on a racetrack or if you're trying to drive fast. But hopefully this gave you such a nice little round feeling about what this car is about. Very comfortable. Everything's exactly perfectly placed. Glad they brought back the volume knob. Cup holders, especially with Big Guns McGee in here. He's got this big bottle of protein. With those cup holders being larger, he's able to fit it with no problem. We're gonna go ahead, wrap this up, and get back to our undisclosed location. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been a ton of fun with this Honda Civic Si. Definitely got to thank Davis and everybody at Honda for allowing me access to this press fleet vehicle. It's one of those things, $25,000, you want a sports coupe, a sports car, and that's your budget. I think that you really could do no better than this Si, especially when it comes not only to the performance, but all the stuff that you're getting on the inside as well. But if these are the types of things that you like to see on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on Rady's Rides, click the link in the description. Takes you right to Spreadshirt. Got to give it up, Big Guns McGee, Tom Moschner. He's actually wearing a Tonic Yellow shirt and shorts, a Rady's Rides Tonic Yellow shirt to kind of just celebrate this Honda Civic Si. So thank you, Tom, for dressing up for today. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.